Chapter 1025 Seni was publicly recognized as the most talented champion of Muay Thai by Chinese wrestling fans and was a role model for many wrestling enthusiasts. Many Chinese people had been hoping for him to come to China to hold a Chinese Thai battle and compete with practitioners of traditional Chinese martial arts. Seni is a top example of a Muay Thai fighter indeed, and Mr. Sun is also a master of martial arts in China. So I've always wanted to see a competition between top-notch Muay Thai and our traditional Chinese martial arts. Mu Suifeng said with excitement in his voice, evidently thrilled by Qin Ruoshi's suggestion. Upon hearing his expected response, Qin Ruoshi revealed a confident expression and looked at Si Yihan. She gently said, "Chairman Si, since Mr. Mu is also interested, how about the Qin family, Sun family, and Si family each choose a representative who will lead 5 experts and hold the martial arts conference?" Mu Suifeng immediately clapped and said, "That's a great idea." Si Yihan saw that Mu Suifeng was very interested, so he naturally wouldn't reject it in order to show how much he valued his guest. "We can. I'll send someone to arrange it." Qin Ruoshi swept her eyes over Yi Wanwan before saying, "I'll be the representative of the Qin family myself and choose 5 experts. As for the Si family, how about you have Miss Yi be the representative, Chairman Si?" When Yi Wanwan, who had been obediently standing next to Si Yihan, was named, she subconsciously raised her eyebrows. Would Qin Ruoshi actually be so nice to give her a chance to be in the limelight? It couldn't be that simple, right? Tut-tut, there would be advanced-level experts at the conference. She really wanted to go and have fun. Yi Wanwan instantly lit up like a light bulb and shot towards Si Yihan, radiating her desire. "Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!" When Mu Suifeng heard this, he glanced at Yi Wanwan with surprise. "Oh, could it be that Miss Yi also knows martial arts and wrestling?" "I really can't see it," Qin Ruoshi replied with a smile. "Miss Yi is very skilled. I personally witnessed a lot of the formidable guards of the Si family being defeated by her." She was naturally praising Yi Wanwan to such heights on purpose so that she had to go even if she didn't want to go. "Then I'm really looking forward to it," Mu Suifeng stated with a chuckle. However, there obviously wasn't sincerity in his words, and he was merely being polite. "Chairman Si, what do you think?" Qin Ruoshi asked. As though she was afraid Si Yihan would decline to protect Yi Wanwan, Qin Ruoshi added, "The representative doesn't need to fight. She merely needs to lead the team and give some pointers, so she won't be in any danger. Don't worry, Chairman Si." If they proceeded with the conference, not only would she win Mr. Mu's favor, but the Sun family would also owe her a favor. More importantly, she could make Yi Wanwan make a big fool of herself and demolish the reputation she had just built up. Qin Ruoshi suppressed her emotions and waited for Si Yihan's answer. Currently, half of Si Yihan was nearly set on fire by Yi Wanwan's fervid gaze. The corners of Si Yihan's lips twitched imperceptibly, and he looked at Yi Wanwan. "You want to go?" Yi Wanwan was naturally more than happy to go and bobbed her head frantically. "Yes." Si Yihan, she was so enthusiastic as soon as she heard there was going to be fighting involved. Chapter 1026. 1026 Since Yi Wanwan agreed as well, the matter was settled. "Considering how skilled you are, you wouldn't encounter any problems even if you fought Miss Yi," Qin Ruoshi said with a dignified and graceful smile. "Since everyone is fine with it, I will contact Uncle Sun." Mu Suifeng answered, "Great. Then I'll wait for your news, Miss Qin." After the end of the banquet, on the way home, Yi Wanwan was afraid of Si Yihan going back on his word, so she solemnly guaranteed, "My dear, the representative is only in charge of leading the team and guiding them and doesn't need to fight. I'm only going to take a look and see the world. I promise." Wolf King Seni and the Sun family alone were enough to pique her interest. She also heard that the daughter of the Sun family, Sun Xuezhen, was also very formidable, so she wanted to meet her too. Si Yihan glanced at her and resigned himself to fate regarding her vow, treating it like empty words. 11 and Feng Shuani are both on missions and are abroad right now. Su Yi will pick other people out for you, Si Yihan said. Su Yi, who was driving in the front, promptly answered, We recently recruited a new group of people who are quite decent. I'll pick a few people out tomorrow. Yi Wanwan, thanks for the trouble, Steward Su. Si Yihan glanced at her with worry. I don't care about winning or losing as long as you don't cause trouble. This martial arts conference was merely being held to allow Yi Wanwan to watch and have fun, as well as to curry Mu Suifeng's favor while they were at it. Yi Wanwan pouted and grumbled, I know. Agio, I feel like you have a deep misunderstanding about me. That's no good. I'm obviously so obedient, and I'm also very cowardly, alright? I won't recklessly cause trouble, Si Yihan, Su Yi. No one has a misunderstanding about you, okay? Cowardly. You're only cowardly in front of one person, alright? Little House of Rose, Tang Tang baby mommy's home. Yi Wanwan kicked off her high heels and swiftly dashed inside the living room. As soon as she entered the room, she spotted an enormous furry figure lying on the rug in front of the sofa with a fair and delicate child sleeping soundly, cuddling against him. Great White's tail flicked every now and then, gently patting the little fella like he was soothing him to sleep. When Yi Wanwan saw this, she quickly lowered her volume and entered gently. Great White, thank you for taking care of Tang Tang. I love you the most. Great White lazily opened his eyes when he heard her footsteps before quickly closing them again. His light blue eyes clearly revealed a trace of contempt, as though they were saying, you went out to have fun for so long, only coming back now, making a tiger watch your kid for you. What kind of parent are you? When Si Yihan stepped inside and saw the child laying on the giant white tiger, his expression abruptly softened. Yi Wanwan carefully walked to Tang Tang and picked him up, placing a kiss on his little cheeks. Baby, let's go sleep on the bed. The child opened a sliver of his sleepy, misty eyes, which resembled the Milky Way and reflected Yi Wanwan's gentle face. Mommy? Yes, Mommy's back. Yi Wanwan lightly said. The child foggily looked up at her face and mumbled in his sleep, Mommy, so pretty. Yi Wanwan was instantly shot and clutched her chest. What should I do? How can my son be so adorable even when he's talking in his sleep? Si Yihan watching nearby, my son? She's really saying it with more and more ease. Chapter 10:27 Early morning in the forest. It was the weekend, so Yi Wanwan went on a morning run and did some stamina training like usual. Ever since Si Yihan made her start training, she made sure she trained for at least 2 hours every day. It was difficult in the beginning, but it later turned into a habit. She would feel out of sorts any day she didn't exercise. As time went on, the sluggish feeling that her body had from prolonged lack of exercise eased quite a bit. Some distance away from the little forest, the 5-man mercenary group was whispering covertly. Heidi had a face of regret. Sigh, it's been so long, but Master does nothing but the most basic stamina training every day and hasn't done any martial arts moves at all. I was planning on secretly learning a few moves. Tangbin's face looked full of worship. No wonder Master is Master. She's truly as extraordinary as expected. Jiao Jiao eagerly asked, Say, just how strong is Master's martial strength? Song Chang rubbed his chin. That's really hard to say. Either way, she's really amazing. Old Jiang spoke after a moment of thinking. Master's circumstances are really strange. For someone who frequently practices martial arts, you can normally easily see it in their behavior and actions since habits are ingrained. However, Master doesn't reveal any traces of her training at all and looks like a perfectly normal person. After Yi Wanwan finished running and saw the 5 of them huddled together, she suspiciously looked at them. Why are you guys kneeling there? Master! The 5 people simultaneously greeted her. The fatty rubbed his hands together with a grin. Master, actually, we wanted to secretly steal some moves from you. Steal some moves? Yi Wanwan repeated with raised brows. The fatty had flattery plastered all over his face. Master, your martial arts must be really strong, right? If we could learn even a few moves, we would gain a lot. Upon hearing this, Yi Wanwan was stunned and didn't know how to answer. The reason she was able to teach 11, Feng Shuani, and the others was solely due to her proficiency in disassembling other people's moves and seeing through their weaknesses, But she personally didn't know any techniques or moves, nor had she learned from any discipline. The coaches her father hired taught her Sanda and Taekwondo. Sanda was the most common wrestling technique in China, but there wasn't anything special about it, and Taekwondo shouldn't even be mentioned. Taekwondo could intimidate ignorant people, but it was publicly recognized in the martial arts world to feature pretty yet useless moves. These two martial arts styles obviously didn't fit Black Widow's mysterious and vicious character. What should she do? She didn't know anything else and couldn't make up a discipline or moves out of thin air. Yi Wanwan's eyes shifted as she thought hard about it before she lightly coughed and said in a deadpan manner, "What moves? What techniques? They're all too inferior. The most superior martial arts should abandon its sequences and forms that are distinctive in traditional martial arts. After all, anything could happen in a real battle, and mechanical and inflexible sequences can't handle that. There aren't any undefeatable martial arts moves in the world, only undefeatable people. I'm shapeless as my shape, use formless as my form, use methodless as my method, and use limitless as my limit. This is my approach." The 5 people were completely absorbed as they listened to her and nodded in a frenzy. They were amazed. "Thank you for your teaching, Master." "Master, what you said was too good. Listening to a gentleman speak is better than studying for 10 years from books. You're truly worthy of being the master, you're awesome." The corners of Yi Wanwan's lips twitched when she saw their amazed expressions. She realized her duping skills were becoming more and more impressive. Chapter 1028. She spewed so much nonsense, but everything could be summarized into, "I don't know anything, so I'm simply training blindly." Yet, Yi Wanwan was able to fabricate such a mystical story and pretend to be so awesome. She almost couldn't resist cheering for herself. Yi Wanwan lightly coughed and ended this topic. "Cough, cough, enough. Let's end this here." She already exaggerated to this extent, and she couldn't continue any further. "I'll be pretty busy in the near future, and I won't be home tomorrow, so this home will require more attention from you. Watch over little master," Yi Wanwan ordered. Although Si Yihan said Si Mingli had fled the country and wouldn't show up anymore, she still wanted to be cautious. Yes. As soon as the 5-man group heard this, they instantly wilted, but they didn't dare to tattle. As soon as Master was too busy to come home, a nightmare would descend upon them, and they would be trained again. "Ah, right, is my swing finished yet?" Yi Wanwan eagerly asked. Heidi scratched her head and reluctantly said, "It's finished, then quickly bring me there," Yi Wanwan promptly urged. Heidi had no choice but to bring Yi Wanwan deep into the forest, where there was a sturdy swing constructed between 2 tall, solid trees. However, what differentiated this swing from normal swings was that this swing was very, very long. When it started swinging, it could fly halfway to the sky at least. Master, you sure you want to ride this thing?" Heidi's lips twitched. Yi Wanwan examined it and saw that it was made according to her design. It was very sturdy with safety belts, and the seats were made with soft leather while the ropes were decorated with flowers. It was obviously constructed carefully. Yi Wanwan nodded with satisfaction. "I do. Look at how awesome this is. The only thing is that I feel it won't swing high enough." Forget it, this is fine. Heidi, test it out." Heidi fearfully pointed at her face. "PFTTT, Tang Bin snorted. "Of course it has to be you who tests whether it's sturdy or not. You're the heaviest." "But I'm scared of heights." Heidi grew more terrified. "How come you aren't able to conquer such a tiny fear for Master's sake?" Tang Bin and Song Chang met each other's eyes before teaming up and pushing Heidi into it. Better him than them. A moment later, Heidi's school-like howl could be heard from the forest. Yi Wanwan tilted her head up to watch. "Not bad, very sturdy. I'll call Tang Tang to come and play." After another glance at the fatty flying in the air, Yi Wanwan happily skipped away. The 5-member mercenary group. "Master is so awesome. Even her swing is different from normal people's. It swings until it flies." "Tang Tang. Tang, what are you doing?" Yi Wanwan ran inside the house to search for him. "Mommy, Tang Tang is reading," the child said as he looked up from his book. Yi Wanwan quickly went over and tugged on the child's hand. Ah, don't read books. What's fun about books? Quick come. Mommy will take you out to play. I haven't finished it yet though. Tang Tang was somewhat hesitant. Didn't parents like good children who worked hard and read books? He must be more obedient and inclined to learning. No, no more reading. You've read for half an hour already. Children should have fun and play lots. Why are you reading? Yi Wanwan dragged the child toward the forest without further ado. Baby, look at this. Yi Wanwan pointed at the supergiant swing. Mommy, what's this? The child suspiciously asked and tilted his head to the side. Chapter 1029. Yi Wanwan happily said, This is a swing. A super-duper awesome swing that you can swing until you fly. Come on, let's ride it together and try it out. When the little fella heard this, his fair and delicate face instantly brightened. Yi Wanwan dragged him over, and he carefully sat on it. Yi Wanwan fastened the safety belt and told Heidi and the others, Okay, you can push now. Push us higher. Heidi was currently puking on the side, so Tang Bin and Song Chong quickly made a compliant sound in response and ran over. Tang Bin, Yes, master. Song Chong, Okay, master. Master is really playful. Yi Wanwan then ordered Jiao Jiao. Jiao Jiao, remember to take photos for me. Yes, master. Jiao Jiao is ready. Jiao Jiao hurriedly took out her phone. Meanwhile, old Jiang was standing on the side on alert so he could stop the swing in time if the child got scared. He had never seen someone care for a child like this. 3, 2, go. Tang Bin and Song Chong pulled the swing back together then fiercely released it. The mother and son on the swing instantly soared into the sky. Trees, birds, and flowers all swooshed past them like the wind. Ah, so happy. Tangning, are you scared? Tang Tang hugged his mother and fiercely shook his head. His eyes were wide open as he watched the forest then the lake in the distance when they reached the peak. There was a radiance on his face that had never been seen before. Do you like it then? I like it. Ha! As expected, a mother knows her son best. I knew you would like it. Yi Wanwan was currently going wild with her son. When Si Yihan, who was taking care of business inside the study, heard Yi Wanwan's jubilant cries from outside the window, he suspiciously walked over to the window and opened it. And then, he saw a scene that turned his face dark and rendered him speechless. Yi Wanwan and Tang Tang were sitting on a giant swing and swinging back and forth in the air. Si Yihan had no idea what expression he should make, and it took him a while before he realized what he was seeing. Several minutes later, Yi Wanwan and her son were obediently standing next to each other, their heads lowered and their tails tucked. Si Yihan sat on the sofa, his face dark like the bottom of a pan. Explain. Yi Wanwan's head remained downcast as her index fingers prodded each other and she quietly mumbled, I saw on TV that tourist spots in tropical rainforests had this kind of swing and felt it would be fun and Tang Tang would like it for sure, so I replicated it at home. I tested it first. It's very sturdy, even Heidi didn't break it after riding it, and it has safety belts. I was just afraid that Tang Tang would be bored. Tang Tang really liked it. Si Yihan felt his head aching as he rubbed the spot between his brows. Was it Tang Tang who wanted to play with it or was it her who wanted to play with it? Tang Tang, you liked it, right? Yi Wanwan asked as she quickly pulled her son into it. Dear Tang Tang cooperatively took the blame for his mom. Daddy, it's Tang Tang who liked it. Yi Wanwan hurriedly said, See? I didn't lie to you. Si Yihan looked at how the mother and son were each wearing a pitiful and miserable expression and simply had no idea what to say. Don't play with that one. Yi Wanwan instantly looked dejected like a frosted eggplant while Tang Tang resembled a mini frosted eggplant. Si Yihan. Wait until I hire a professional to remake it for you. The two eggplants' heads shot up and brilliant beams spread across their faces. Their actions and expressions were identical. Yi Wanwan, Ajio, I knew you were the best. Tang Tang, thank you, Daddy. Si Yihan, who inexplicably compromised and aided the wrongdoers in their misbehavior. Chapter 1030. After playing with the swing, Yi Wanwan didn't idle and led Tang Tang and Great White all over the wilderness. picking mushrooms and fruits and digging for bird eggs. Afraid she would stir up more trouble, Si Yihan accompanied them the whole time. When they returned in the evening, the 3 people and 1 white tiger were covered in grass and leaves. Yi Wanwan had Si Yihan take Tang Tang to shower and change while she took out her phone to take photos of the day's bounty. While she was happily taking photos, several news notifications popped up on her screen. A martial arts expert shockingly appeared in all the major outdoor obstacle course game shows. A martial arts expert? It couldn't be. Yi Wanwan clicked it and saw written in the news article, a Superman appeared in various international outdoor obstacle course reality television shows, including The Merry Dash, The Amazing Race, Charge On Heroes, and so on, breaking all their previous records and setting an unsurpassable record. The discussion below the article was composed of, "Damn! So fearsome. He only took 11 minutes to pass Country M's The Amazing Race? Is he human? Fuck me. He made it look like the entire ground was level and he ran the whole way there, okay? This is total annihilation. How can other people play now? They're from completely different worlds. I seriously suspect that this is some retired Special Forces soldier. He couldn't be this formidable otherwise. To the netizen above me, are you joking? What kind of people are Special Forces soldiers? You think they would participate in some childish outdoor competition game show?" Dark clouds covered Yi Wanwan's face as she read this. Nameless Nya, that idiot. Enough already. What was the difference between this and robbery? Her heart ached for the show's crew. At that moment, the doorbell rang and old Jiang went to open the door. Old Jiang returned and asked, "Master, you bought appliances?" "What appliances? I didn't buy any." Yi Wanwan was confused. Old Jiang was perplexed. "Then Mr. C bought it? There's someone outside delivering a fridge, TV, and air conditioner. Huh? Agio probably didn't buy them. Why would he buy these things for no reason?" Yi Wanwan walked to the front door distrustfully and saw a delivery man moving several appliances to the front door. "I didn't buy these things. Do you have the wrong house?" Yi Wanwan asked the delivery man. The young delivery man took out the invoice and looked. "It wasn't you? A client surnamed Nye sent these here." "Surnamed Nye?" Yi Wanwan's eyebrows raised. Could it be nameless Nye? However, why did that guy send these things here? While suspicion rolled over her, her WeChat notification rang. "Nye Hollow Pit, sister. Sister, did you receive the fridge, TV, and air conditioner yet?" It really was that guy. Yi Wanwan responded. "Famous Yi, you sent these here?" "Nye Hollow Pit. These are the prizes I won." Gloating. JPG. Yi Wanwan was speechless when she saw the proud and gloating emoji nameless Nye sent her. Now she remembered that the prizes of these shows included not only cash but also many sponsored prizes like appliances and houseware. "Miss, what about these things?" the delivery guy at the door asked. "Oh yeah, these were meant for me." After Yi Wanwan said that, she picked up the invoice and signed it before having old Jiang and the others carry the things inside. Yi Wanwan glanced at the prizes and shook her head in amusement. She replied, "Famous Yi, thank you bro. Nye Hollow Pit, you're welcome, you're welcome. We're family after all." Yi Wanwan chuckled. This guy was quite into his character. "Famous Yi, today's the weekend, so I went out with Tang Tang all day. Tang Tang had a good time." Yi Wanwan sent this and generously attached all the photos she took that day. Chapter 1031. Aside from the photos, there was also a video of Tang Tang and her riding the swing together. Nameless Nye felt overwhelmed by the gift. Not only did she send so many photos at once, but she also included a video. Nameless Nye happily opened the video. And then he saw an absurdly long swing hanging from the tops of 2 trees. On the video, Yi Wanwan led Tang Tang onto the enormous swing, and they swung back and forth in the air. "Famous Yi, I didn't lie to you, right? Look at how well I took care of Tang Tang." Nameless Nye gulped. He had no idea how to respond. He heard her mentioning that her boyfriend was back and successfully played the role of dad. With Si Yihan's personality, he actually didn't question her upon seeing her acting this wild. Nya hollow pit, I say, why doesn't your man manage you a bit? Famous Yi, of course he manages me. He said my swing wasn't any good, so he's going to find someone to make a new one for me. Nya hollow pit, just act like I didn't ask anything. Nameless Nya opened the other photos. It featured the family of 3 and a giant white tiger picking mushrooms in the wild, climbing trees to pick wild fruit, and treading into the river to catch fish. His cleanliness-obsessed little devil had his sleeves and pants rolled up and was enthusiastically foraging for food in the back. He was covered in grass and leaves, and his hands were dark from playing. As for the giant white tiger, there were 2 baskets on his back filled with mushrooms, wild fruit, and a colorful pheasant. Tang Tang was smiling in every photo. Nameless Nye had merely left the little devil with Yi Wanwan for a few days, but he was already questioning whether the child was switched. Was this still his family's little devil? This was an abrupt change in behavior from a little demon to a little angel. Yi Wanwan thought for a moment before she sent a message. Famous Yi, speaking of which, I'm very curious about what Tang Tang typically does at home. Didn't he have a childhood? He doesn't know a lot of things. When I brought him to a theme park, he didn't even know what cotton candy was. Upon seeing Yi Wanwan's accusatory message, Nameless Nya quickly replied. Nya hollow pit, I have to clarify this. It's not that we were abusing Tang Tang, it's that his personality is like this. He doesn't like things that other children play with. When Yi Wanwan saw his message, she was speechless. Am I with a fake Tang Tang? Tang Tang clearly likes all those things. The little fella probably knew he was different from other children and didn't have parents. He probably also thought it was his fault that his parents didn't want him. That was why he used such a cold shell to protect himself. He merely didn't feel secure. Based on her interactions with Tang Tang lately, Yi Wanwan discovered that Tang Tang was very insecure and was very afraid of being abandoned again. She hoped Nameless Nya was reliable and could find his biological parents soon. Nya hollow pit. Oh, right, I'm going to send these photos to my mom. My mom is on my tail about sending photos 24/7. I bet my only worth to her is sending photos of Tang Tang. The corners of Yi Wanwan's mouth twitched slightly when she sensed Nameless Nya's sadness through his words. Famous Yi, go on then. I'll try to send a few status updates of Tang Tang to you every day from now on. It was unavoidable for them to worry about a young child following some stranger by himself. Nya hollow pit, Sister Famous Yi. Thank you so much. I'll send you a red packet even if I have to collect trash to do it. Yi Wanwan, no thanks. Chapter 1032. On the other side of the ocean, inside an old antique house. A dignified and elegant woman was sitting on a rattan chair in the garden and looking at the photos on her phone, her eyes unusually gentle. The punk sent some photos over? A man slowly walked toward her. Yes. The woman nodded and gently sighed. No matter how much we dote on Tang Tang, we can't be substitutes for his parents. Look at how happy Tang Tang's smile is. This is how a child should be. The man sighed. Why do you look like this when Tang Tang is happy? Sorrow flitted through the woman's eyes. How wonderful would it be if that girl really was our daughter? The man hugged his wife and gently comforted her. Don't be sad. Don't we have news already? We'll find her for sure. I hope we'll really find her this time. Little Rose Garden, in the bedroom, Sihen was holding an adorable onesie with an adorable cow cartoon printed on it. It looked like he had encountered a colossal challenge. Tang Tang sat on the bed in a tank top and underpants and suggested with complete seriousness, I think it's better if we let Mommy put it on me instead. Sihen glanced at the child. Let's try again. The little fella didn't look very willing. The outcome will be the same regardless. Sihen stared at the pajamas in his hands for a long while before finally snapping a photo of it and posting it in the group chat. After he left the group last time, Lin K added him again. Sihen, how do I put this on? Lin K came online almost immediately. It was plausible he was incredibly bored and was staring at his phone day and night. Lin K, ninth brother, is our group merely customer service to you? Lin K replied sadly before typing. Lin K, ninth brother, what's that in your photo? Are these clothes? Aren't they too weird? Who bought it? Si Yihan, Wan. Lin K, these clothes are truly too cute. Sister-in-law's taste is superb. Excellent. Lin K tactfully switched his tone. Lin K, speaking of which, ninth brother, Xie Zhizhi and I are both single. Why would we know how to put on children's clothes? Let me help you ask my friends to see if they know. Xie Zhizhi, you have friends who aren't single? Why don't I know this? Xie Zhizhi suddenly showed up. Lin K them, as if you aren't one yourself. As Si Yihan watched the conversation in the group, he finally realized he asked his question in the wrong place. Baby, are you done showering? At that moment, Yi Wanwan's voice came from outside the door. Mommy! The little fella immediately looked happy when he heard Yi Wanwan's voice. What is it? As soon as Yi Wanwan entered, she spotted Si Yihan holding the pajamas in his hands like it was some difficult science problem. Daddy doesn't know how to put it on, Tang Tang interjected. Oh, Yi Wanwan sweated. I forgot about this. Allow me. Yi Wanwan was about to take the pajamas, but Si Yihan didn't move. Teach me. How could he allow his wife to dress another man? Yi Wanwan didn't expect Si Yihan to like Tang Tang so much and insist on dressing him personally, but she was naturally happy and replied immediately, Okay, I'll teach you. First, you reverse it and open the row of hidden buttons inside. Then, you put it on the legs first and the arms after that. Si Yihan followed Yi Wanwan's instructions and started dressing Tang Tang. The little fella cooperatively opened his arms, but his eyes were full of resentment. Chapter 1033. It was soon the day of the martial arts conference. Yi Wanwan woke up early in the morning excitedly and put on some white workout clothes. Si Yihan, who was currently heading to some contract signing ceremony, called again with concern. Do you remember what I said? Yi Wanwan hurriedly promised him, I remember. Don't stir trouble. Don't worry about me and do your own thing. Leave Mr. Mu to me. I guarantee I'll finish the mission and won't fight. By the time she finished painstakingly relieving Si Yihan of his worries and ordering old Jiang and the others to watch the house, Su Yi was waiting outside with the people he selected. Miss Wanun, these 5 people are new guards and are quite skilled. They've gone through the standard business etiquette training. Su Yi introduced them to Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan looked over the 5 people and imperceptibly nodded. All right. Then Su Yi introduced Yi Wanwan to the 5 people. Miss Yi is your representative and leader. You'll obey all of her arrangements and commands. The 5 people automatically met each other's eyes when they heard this, their brows furrowed with surprise on their faces. They hadn't expected their leader to be some dainty girl. However, the 5 people didn't dare doubt Su Yi and repressed all their dissatisfaction. They responded simultaneously, yes. Greetings, Miss Yi. Yi Wanwan, all right, let's take off then if there's nothing else. At the same time, on the training grounds of the Sun family, the arena for the martial arts conference was already set up. There was a stage inside an octagonal wired cage and a row of seats beneath the stage. Qin Ruoshi had arrived with the 5 meticulously picked people from her clan. Ruoshi, you're here. Sun Xuezhen immediately went up and greeted her. Sun Lizhong was also very polite toward Qin Ruoshi when he saw her. Ruoshi, thanks for pulling some strings for us this time. Qin Ruoshi nonchalantly said, Uncle Sun, you're too polite. It was no bother. Sun Lizhong said, Your no bother really helped me though. Sun Xuezhen affectionately pulled Qin Ruoshi to a seat and sat down. It's not easy for most people to even speak to Mr. Mu. If it wasn't for your help, how could we have invited him to our house? Sun Xuezhen glanced at the 5 people Qin Ruoshi brought over. Ruoshi, you're quite considerate and brought a team of experts here. I heard Uncle Qin invited quite a few capable people. I've wanted to see them for myself for a while. Qin Ruoshi humbly smiled and said, How could they compare to Uncle Sun? Uncle Sun is the master of martial arts in China. He was able to invite a distinguished guest like Wolf King Seni. Right, where's Mr. Seni? He should be arriving soon. Just as Sun Xuezhen said that, a tall, dark-skinned, bald-muscled man headed toward the stage. It was Wolf King Seni. 5 years ago, Seni defeated Abel and became the boxing champion for WBC. In fact, he was the youngest heavyweight boxing champion in the history of boxing. Following that, he defeated many famous boxing champions and became the publicly recognized world heavyweight champion of the 3 major boxing organizations in the world, WBC, WBA and IBF. Last year, he also defeated the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion and successfully won the MMA championship. Seni naturally wouldn't participate and compete with the experts chosen by their clans during this martial arts conference. Instead, he would watch the competition as a distinguished guest. The only one Seni would take seriously during today's martial arts conference would be Sun Lizhong. Hello, Mr. Seni. My surname is Qin. I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. It's so great to meet you. Qin Ruashi quickly went up and greeted him when she saw the newcomer. Seni merely made an indifferent noise in response. It was expected for an expert like him to have a cold and prideful demeanor, so Qin Ruashi wasn't hurt by it at all. Mr. Seni, this way please. Sun Lizhong walked over and took Seni to his seat. By the side, Sun Shuezhen looked around the arena and asked offhandedly, Ruashi, where's the C family? How come they aren't here yet? Chapter 1034, they should probably be arriving soon. Qin Ruashi said. Sun Shuezhen crossed her arms over her chest and muttered, I wonder who the C family will send as their representative? The ancestors of your Qin clan are generals, while our Sun family is a martial arts patrician family, but the C family have been in business for generations, so they naturally don't attach as much importance to martial arts as us. The guards in their clan are all hired externally, so I reckon it won't be easy to find a suitable representative, right? Qin Ruashi's eyes glinted when she heard that and she said, Agio should have made appropriate arrangements. Sun Shuezhen nodded and said, since they're bringing people personally chosen by 9th Master, it's naturally worth the wait. As they conversed, a group of 6 people walked toward the stage. The 5 people in the back had the C family emblem embroidered on them, but the leader was actually a delicate-figured girl. When Sun Shuezhen saw the newcomer, she frowned. Isn't she that Yi woman? Why is it her? Yi Wanwan reached Sun Shuezhen and introduced herself. Miss Sun, hello. I've been looking forward to meeting you. My surname is Yi, and I'm the representative of the C family for this martial arts conference. When Sun Shuezhen heard that, her face instantly darkened. What did you say? You're the representative for the C family for this martial arts conference? Yi Wanwan's expression didn't shift. That's right. This is too preposterous. Sun Shuezhen flew into a rage in an instant, humiliation covering her face. Zhenzhen, what's wrong? Sun Lizhong walked over and asked when he heard the commotion. Sun Shuezhen stared at Yi Wanwan with rage all over her face. Father, the C family has gone too far. We earnestly and sincerely held this martial arts conference and invited them to participate, but they actually sent people like her to humiliate us. Sun Lizhong's eyes swept over Yi Wanwan like sharp blades. This is, Sun Shuezhen sneered and replied, she's the one I told you about, Si Yihan's lover. As soon as Sun Lizhong heard this, his face also changed. Miss, regardless of how you made your way inside, I'm sorry. This isn't a place you can play around. When the nameless experts of the C family heard Sun Lizhong's harsh words and were faced with the mocking looks from the experts of the other 2 families, they all looked embarrassed. I wanted to say something when Steward Su introduced us earlier. Why is 9th Master letting this woman be our captain? That's right. She's humiliating us along with her. In this tense atmosphere, Qin Ruashi quickly stepped forward and abruptly smoothed things over. Uncle Sun Shuezhen, don't be angry. Agio absolutely didn't intend that. Miss Yi does have her own distinct understanding of martial arts and is quite skilled too. The C family didn't intend to look down on this martial arts conference in the slightest. Sun Shuezhen looked like she expected better from Qin Ruashi. Ruashi, you're still making excuses for Si Yihan despite how he treated you. I didn't believe the rumors from the C family that he was utterly bewitched by this woman. I didn't expect them to be true. Just as Sun Shuezhen was about to continue, A disciple arrived while leading Mu Suifeng. Master, Mr. Mu is here. Sun Lizhong and Sun Xuezhen didn't have time to worry about Yi Wanwan anymore and instantly focused all their attention onto Mu Suifeng. They quickly walked forward to receive him. Sun Lizhong, Mr. Mu, pardon me for not going out to meet you. Please have a seat. Mu Suifeng waved his hand. Mr. Sun, you're too polite. I've long heard of Mr. Sun's famous reputation. It's my honor to meet Mr. Sun today. Mu Suifeng had always been extremely polite to masters of martial arts. Sun Lizhong instantly felt his ego soaring, and the experts of the Sun family next to him all had proud expressions too. Chapter 1035 Sun Xuezhen evaded Mu Suifeng and walked to Qin Ruoxi's side, speaking quietly, Ruoxi, aren't you going to do something about this? Qin Ruoxi's brows furrowed slightly, and she looked at Sun Xuezhen. We can't question Agio's private matters. The martial arts conference is held by our three families together. Since Agio sent Miss Yi here, then he must have his own plans. Moreover, Miss Yi is truly quite talented in martial arts. When Sun Xuezhen heard her, Sun Xuezhen glanced at Yi Wanwan a few times in assessment before snorting and saying contemptuously, Miss Ye's quite talented in martial arts. I certainly hope so. Sun Xuezhen felt nothing but disgust toward Yi Wanwan. She couldn't interfere with the Si family's business, nor did it have anything to do with her. However, the Sun family was the chief organizer of this martial arts conference, and the representative of the Si family did have to go on stage eventually and compare notes. It wouldn't be a big deal if the Si family was disgraced from this woman humiliating herself on stage, but it would implicate the Sun family as well. After all, Wolf King Seni and Mr. Mu were both important distinguished guests of the Sun family. Currently, the 5 new guards with Yi Wanwan all shook their heads with flushed faces, wishing nothing more than to find a hole to burrow inside. If they could have a do-over, they wouldn't have followed this woman there no matter what. Not only did she humiliate herself, but she also caused them to be unable to hold their heads up. As for the Sun family's attitude, Yi Wanwan didn't express any dissatisfaction and was abnormally calm. She was quite zen-like indeed. Si Yihan already said he didn't care about winning or losing in this martial arts conference, and she didn't intend to do anything but observe and increase her knowledge. Miss Yi, if you may. Sun Xuezhen impatiently said while looking at Yi Wanwan. Sun Lizhong coldly glanced at Yi Wanwan. Although he was displeased, he couldn't say anything at this point in time. No matter what, this woman was sent by the patriarch of the Si Yihan, so he had to take Si Yihan in consideration and couldn't be too abrasive to Yi Wanwan. Sun Xuezhen immediately led Yi Wanwan and Qin Ruoxi to the competitors' area. The 2 honored guests, Wolf King Seni and Mr. Mu, sat above the competitors' area. They appear to be greatly interested in today's martial arts conference. Next, I'll announce the rules of the martial arts conference. Sun Xuezhen swept her eyes over her audience, and complete silence descended on the area. The Si family, the Qin family, and the Sun family will all send 5 experts to compete. As for Miss Qin Ruoxi and I, Miss Yi too, will compete last as representatives. The matches will be determined by drawing lots. Regardless of whether you win or lose, you have the chance to receive personal guidance from Wolf King Seni and Mr. Mu. When the experts from the 3 families heard her announcement, excitement appeared on their faces. It didn't matter whether they won or lost. What was important was that they wanted to receive guidance from Wolf King Seni and Mr. Mu. Of course, that being said, if they could achieve victory in the martial arts conference held by these 3 major patrician families, they would certainly be in the limelight of their respective patrician family and be catapulted into an important position. Miss Qin, is that fine? After Sun Xuezhen finished explaining the rules, she turned to look at Qin Ruoxi. Yes, the rules are clear. I see nothing wrong with them, Qin Ruoxi said with a nod. Then, Sun Xuezhen glanced at Yi Wanwan but didn't pay attention to her, as though saying even a word to a layman like Yi Wanwan was beneath her. Yi Wanwan raised her brows at Sun Xuezhen's words. Qin Ruoxi previously said representatives didn't need to fight, but it appeared that wasn't so. However, that didn't matter. Chapter 1036. 1036. Qin Ruoshi looked at Yi Wanwan and explained. The original rules stated that representatives didn't need to go on stage, but it looks like the rules changed last minute. However, we're just comparing notes, so we'll stop before it gets too far. With Miss Ye's strength, it shouldn't be difficult for Miss Yi, so don't worry. Yi Wanwan's lips turned up when she heard this. She finally figured it out. Ever since the banquet, Qin Ruoshi had been speaking on her behalf and praising her in all sorts of ways. Qin Ruoshi was planning to make me fail from excessive praise? First, she raised her sky high in front of everyone and would then watch as she plummeted down. What a brilliant idea! The stage was cleared and prepared quickly. The arena was a very professional competition arena and was equipped with even more professional referees to guarantee the fairness of this martial arts conference. Everyone could see this competition's fairness themselves, so they didn't have any objections. The referee team composed of the finest professionals was personally picked by the Sun family, highlighting how highly they viewed this martial arts conference. Soon, a middle-aged referee walked to the spectator area, holding a bamboo tube. To guarantee fairness and prevent any possibility of cheating, they would draw lots. The surnames of the 3 great patrician families were thrown into the tube, and the participants of each match were inscribed on the bamboo sticks. Miss Qin, if you may. Sun Xuezhen looked at Qin Ruoshi. Qin Ruoshi didn't try to act modest. She stuck her fingers into the bamboo tube and drew a bamboo stick. Qin Ruoshi looked at the stick. Second match, Qin family versus Sun family. After Qin Ruoshi finished, Sun Xuezhen also drew a stick from the tube. First match, Sun family versus Sea family. There's a total of 3 families in this conference, so you don't have to draw, Sun Xuezhen told Yi Wanwan after handing the stick to the referee. Yi Wanwan didn't object. As Sun Xuezhen said, there were only 3 families in this conference, so there was no point in her drawing another time since Qin Ruoshi and Sun Xuezhen each drew a stick already. In the honored guest seats, Sun Lizhong was conversing with Master Mu and Wolf King Seni when they heard the bronze drum ringing. The martial arts conference jointly held by the 3 great patrician families had begun. In the first match, the Sea family was going up against the Sun family. The 5 members of the Sea family were somewhat nervous. The Sun family was a martial arts patrician clan, and normal people couldn't compare to them since experts in their clan were abundant like the clouds. The experts sent by the Sun family for the martial arts conference must be the crème de la crème of experts. The group sent out by the Sun family was made up of 5 brothers. They were ranked according to their martial strength, from eldest son to 5th son, with 5th son being the weakest and eldest son being the strongest. Bing Exen, you first, Sun Xuezhen told 5th Sunday. When the young man heard this, he nodded at Sun Xuezhen and walked toward the stage with large strides. 5th son was on the stage a few breaths later. Yi Wanwan was currently assessing the 5 people from the Sea family. As they watched her, they all shook their heads. What could this woman possibly know? Did she actually want to appoint them in order? Although Steward Su told the 5 of them to listen to Yi Wanwan's directions and commands, this woman was completely clueless about martial arts, so careless commands would only disrupt their rhythm. Yi Wanwan thought for a long time while staring at them before she finally shook her head. Go up as you please. Yi Wanwan was unfamiliar with these 5 new guards from the Sea family and their abilities, so it was better for them to act at will. However, Yi Wanwan's words sounded ridiculous to others. She was the representative of the Sea family, but she wasn't decisive at all and wanted her teammates to act as they pleased. Utterly absurd. Chapter 1037. Ruoshi, could it be that the Sea family has some complaints against our Sun family? Sun Xuezhen asked with annoyance while looking at Qin Ruoshi. Qin Ruoshi replied, They don't, Xuezhen. Why do you say that? They don't. Sun Xuezhen snorted. Since they don't have any complaints, why are they letting someone like her disgust and humiliate the Sun family? The Sea family clearly knows how important this martial arts conference is to the Sun family, and it's also hosted by the Sun family. However, this woman is completely clueless about martial arts and isn't decisive in the slightest. If they aren't trying to humiliate our Sun family, then what's the meaning of this? Sun Xuezhen was originally going to endure it, but she couldn't repress her anger in the end. In truth, neither the relationship between Yi Wanwan and Si Yihan nor her status in the Si family mattered to the Sun family at all. The Sun family had always only respected the strong. If Yi Wanwan really exhibited some martial arts skills and understanding of martial arts, then the Sun family naturally wouldn't say anything and would treat their guest politely. However, to the Sun family, Yi Wanwan merely relied on her looks to gain favor from men, so how could she know anything about martial arts? Yet, she showed up at the martial arts competition hosted by the Sun family, so it turned into a form of humiliation for the Sun family in a sense. Yi Wanwan didn't respond to the Sun family or Sun Xuezhen's attitude at all. She promised Si Yihan to not cause any trouble. Moreover, she came here today to do nothing but increase her knowledge. She didn't plan on going on stage and comparing notes herself. On the other hand, Yi Wanwan's decision to allow the 5 new guards from the Si family to perform as they wished was a blessing from the heavens to them. After a round of discussion, they decided to allow a young man, who looked around 20 years old, to test the Sun family. The man sent by the Sun family should be the weakest in the group, so they also dispatched their weakest member in turn. Soon, the young guard of the Si family walked onto the stage and looked at his opponent from the Sun family. He greeted his opponent, guard of the Si family, Lu Tsin. Bing Exin, the man stated aloofly, as though he didn't find the Si family guard significant. Heh, you're quite arrogant. Lu Tsin snorted before cupping his fists. Excuse me. As soon as Lu Tsin finished talking, he reached Bing Xin with a single step and started executing his masterful fighting techniques. However, Bing Xin stayed rooted in place as though he didn't intend on dodging at all. Is a member of the Sun family really this weak? Lu Tsin couldn't help but feel suspicious when he saw Bing Xin's unmoving figure as he swung his fist. When Lu Tsin's fist was no more than 3 inches away from Bing Xin, a whoosh of wind was heard. Before Lu Tsin realized what happened, his abdomen suffered a hard side kick from Bing Xin. Immediately, Lu Tsin cried out in pain and flew off the stage like a kite whose string had been snipped, heavily crashing into the crowd. It's me who should say excuse me, Bing Xin said coldly with an indifferent glance at his fallen opponent. Bing Xin of the Sun family is the winner. In 20 minutes, the winner will continue being challenged by the losing party. A middle-aged referee promptly announced. This strong. The 4 remaining members of the Si family helped Lu Tsin up and looked at each other with astonishment. The strength and speed behind that side kick were nearly perfect. The timing was especially opportune. Bing Xin of the Sun family was an expert in kicking techniques. More than that, Lu Tsin was unable to catch how Bing Xin kicked before he was struck, flew off the stage and was disqualified. Referees, no need to waste time. I can continue on, Bing Xin said aloofly as he looked at the referee team. The referee team conducted a short discussion before complying with Bing Xin's request. After all, resting after a match was a privilege granted to the winning competitor. No referee had the right to object if the competitor didn't want to rest. Chapter 1038. The referee respected the decision of the competitor from the Sun family. Since Bing Xin didn't need to rest, the competition could continue. Be careful. Bing Xin is really strong, the young guard of the Si family squeezed out with a frown. His strength was impressive already, but it was still inadequate compared to Bing Xin. More than that, Lu Tsin didn't even see Bing Xin move, yet a split second later, he was flying from the stage and was defeated. From the spectators' area, Yi Wanwan couldn't help but feel disappointed. Wasn't that young guard of the Si family too weak? Bing Xin wasn't worth mentioning to her. This martial arts conference appeared to be a bit boring. After another discussion, the Si family guards decided to send the second strongest member, Liu, onto the stage. Si family guard Li, please. Liu walked onto the stage and greeted his opponent as he looked at Bing Xin and cupped his fists. You should leave, Bing Xin coldly said. Liu was surprised when he heard this. When he regained his senses, he involuntarily sneered. Bing Xin might be strong, but wasn't he too arrogant? However, Before Liu could reply, fragments of a figure flashed in front of him and a shooting pain pierced his abdomen. Immediately after, Liu shot into the air like the previous guard and was sent flying off the stage with a mere kick. Bing Exen of the Sun family won. The referee team announced the outcome of this match at once. After Liu crashed to the floor, he was dumbstruck. Bing Exen was too fast. He couldn't react at all. Don't waste time. Continue, Bing Exen coldly stated as he looked at the C family's guards. The competition between the Sun family and the C family was in accordance with the 5-match and 3-win rule. If the Sun family won another match, the C family would lose the competition this round. Fucking arrogant. Liu sneered before turning to a fellow guard. Boss, you go up. However, you must be careful. He's very strong indeed. A man in his 30s strode onto the stage. Before the man could speak, Bing Exen shouted again, "Go down." Immediately after his shout, the audience watched the strongest member of the C team walking in his previous 2 teammates' footsteps, and he was sent flying off the stage with a side kick in the blink of an eye. 3 losses to the C family and a total victory to the Sun family. The referee team announced the outcome of the first round. Everyone couldn't help but sigh. After all, the C family mainly focused on business and wasn't a martial arts patrician family like the Sun family, so it went without saying that the Sun family would win with overwhelming strength. Yi Wanwan's expression didn't change since this was in line with her expectations. After all, the Sun family was a martial arts patrician family and thought highly of this martial arts conference, so they naturally picked the top experts from their family. Although the 5 guards of the C family weren't incapable, they were nothing in the face of the Sun family. The guards of the C family currently wanted nothing more than to burrow themselves into a hole. This was a 5-match and 3-win competition, but they suffered a total defeat and didn't even reach the 5th match. What was more unbelievable was that Bing Exen was the weakest on the Sun team. Chapter 1039. A martial arts patrician clan and a business patrician clan had 2 completely different scopes. The Sun clan upheld martial arts traditions and it had a very intense martial arts atmosphere with countless experts in the clan. In the audience, Sun Xuezhen appeared very calm about the Sun family's victory. Guards led by Yi Wanwan couldn't be too accomplished in the martial arts field to begin with, so how could they compare to the Sun family? Next round, the Sun family versus the Qin family, one of the referees announced. The C family had already been eliminated, so the 2 remaining families were the 2 groups led by Qin Ruoshi and Sun Xuezhen. In the audience, Yi Wanwan propped her chin on her hand as she watched the match between the Qin family and the C family. She secretly yawned. If she knew this wouldn't be fun, she wouldn't have come. The reason for her boredom could be attributed to the low quality of the conference. To her, experts should resemble nameless Nye and spray of flowers. However, the martial artists participating in this competition were light years away from nameless Nye's level. Regarding their martial strength, the 5-member MLM group was quite dependable. It looked like she had been remiss. How could there be so many abnormal experts in the world? Experts like nameless Nye were in the minority, after all. Sun Xuezhen peered at Yi Wanwan from the corners of her eyes and couldn't help snorting upon seeing Yi Wanwan's bored-to-death appearance. Women like her were only fit to be holed up in a mansion. How could she understand the appeal of martial arts? How many times had this woman watched matches? Hence, Sun Xuezhen still didn't understand what drove the patriarch of the C family to allow this woman to be his representative. When the experts' competition ended, the representatives of each family were required to go up on stage and compete. She wouldn't be lenient when that time came. The mere fact of this woman being a representative and sitting in the audience with them was a degradation to the conference in and of itself. Qin Feng of the Qin family wins. Suddenly, the referee team's announcement jolted Sun Xuezhen, and she looked down at the stage. Bing Exen was dismissed from the stage by the young man from the Qin family as he lost this match. Brother Bing Exen, your kicking techniques are decent, but they're still slightly second to my hard-breathing technique. The young man named Qin Feng was languidly standing on the stage. Qin Feng, the top expert of the younger generation of the Qin family, Sun Xuezhen looked away in contemplation. She heard Qin Feng had started studying martial arts with his grandfather since the age of 4. Not only that, but he was forced to strip off his clothing in a frozen and snow-covered land and was covered by snow, reportedly for the sake of training his body. Today's encounter with him didn't disappoint. A moment later, the competition continued. Qin Feng of the Qin family was unrivaled and successively defeated 2 people from the Sun family. It wasn't until the strongest expert from the Sun family appeared that Qin Feng's unbeatable record was broken. Zhou Hen, the first-place winner of the national martial arts competition at the age of 16. Discussion erupted amongst the audience as they watched the solemn man on the stage. Qin Feng, the supposed genius of the Qin family, was swept from the stage with a mere kick from Zhou Hen. Zhou Hen of the Sun family isn't some genius and merely works extremely hard. I heard that it's already a lot for normal people to practice a kicking technique dozens of times, but this Zhou Hen practiced hundreds of thousands of times. He persistently practiced each move day after day, year after year, so he could perform each move 10 times stronger than normal people. Indeed, other people practice 10 or 100 times, but he practices thousands of times. He has really relied on his own hard work to surpass those so-called martial arts geniuses. Chapter 1040. After that, the Sun family won 2 more matches and ended up winning this round. The referee stood on the stage and announced the result. The Sun family wins. Below the stage, Qin Ruoshi said with great admiration, "Uncle Sun's disciple is outstanding as expected. Thank you for providing such a good opportunity to learn from each other today, Uncle Sunday. I'm certain the 5 of them gained a lot from today's competition." Sun Lizhong broke into bright laughter at the Sun family's victory. The juniors of the Qin family each have their excellent points and are all extremely talented. Their futures will be boundless in due time. Mu Suifeng also made a positive evaluation of the experts from the 2 families. The rising generation is to be reckoned with. They conversed happily and the experts from both families felt accomplished. Even though the Qin family lost, they lost beautifully. However, the 5 people from the Xi family were invisible, as though they were mere decorations. At that time, Sun Xuezhen said, "Since the competition between the experts of the 3 families has finished, if no one has any objections to the results, let's proceed to the competition between the representatives." Following the end of the experts' competition, it was time for the 3 representatives to go on stage and compare notes. Everyone's gazes instantly landed on Yi Wanwan when they heard Sun Xuezhen. Although the girl was wearing proper workout clothes, she was bonelessly sitting there with her chin propped on her hand, looking dainty. She didn't look like she could go on stage to compete at all and looked more like some pampered daughter of a wealthy family who came to watch a show. In contrast, Qin Ruoshi and Sun Xuezhen both stood straight like rods and were valiant and formidable looking. People could tell they were martial artists based on their energy and aura. The difference between them and women like Yi Wanwan was like day and night. However, when the 5 guards of the Xi family heard that their representative was about to go on stage, their faces turned ashen. They humiliated themselves enough already. They were afraid they would be even more humiliated after this woman went on stage. "All right, we can begin," Qin Ruoshi said without any objections. Mu Suifeng also revealed an expectant expression. The match between Qin Ruoshi and Sun Xuezhen would be worth a watch. "I heard Miss Sun received Mr. Sun's authentic teachings." Sun Xuezhen replied, "Mr. Mu's praise is too much. I still have a ways to go before catching up to father. Ruoshi is the truly awesome one. She's been learning from famous masters since she was young and has assimilated teachings from many schools." When Qin Ruoshi heard this, she glanced at Yi Wanwan and humbly said, "Miss Yi is the truly brilliant one. She has personally taught the Xi family's guards before." Sun Xuezhen sneered, distrusting Qin Ruoshi's words since she thought Qin Ruoshi purposefully said that for Si Yihin's sake. "Is that so? Then I look forward to it." Like before, the referee walked over with a bamboo tube and had them draw lots. Sun Xuezhen drew a lot and looked at it. Yi Wanwan was written on it. Qin Ruoshi caught the name from the corner of her eyes, a glint flashing in her eyes. Sun Xuezhen sneered at the name on the lot, her eyes brimming with disgust. She had to compete with this woman. Upon seeing this, the referee announced, "The first match will be between the Sun representative and the Sea representative." Sun Xuezhen glanced at Yi Wanwan. "Miss Yi, please. Ruashi keeps saying you're strong. I would like to see that for myself today." When Yi Wanwan, who was dozing off, heard this, she looked up. "What?" Sun Xuezhen frowned deeply with impatience. "You're competing with me on stage." Chapter 1041. Yi Wanwan faintly said, "Who said I wanted to go on stage to compete? Do you think I want to die by going on stage? I swore I wouldn't fight." Upon hearing this, Sun Xuezhen's expression changed. "What do you mean?" Yi Wanwan smiled and languidly said, "No one told me I needed to go on stage before coming here. Do I actually have to go on stage just because Qin Ruashi's forcing me? Moreover, this competition wasn't fun or interesting, so she was naturally disinclined to go up." Sun Xuezhen's face was cold and stern. She thought Yi Wanwan was scared, so she retorted, "You didn't know before, but you know now, don't you? After the experts' competition ends, the representatives also have to compete on stage. How could you not compete as the representative of the Sea family?" Sun Xuezhen's face was plastered with derision. "If you went on stage, then you would be upright and honest even if you lost. Yet, you're so cowardly right now and don't even have the guts to go on stage. You're simply a disgrace to martial artists." This time, everyone's faces also changed. How could she? How in the world did this woman become the Sea family's representative when she doesn't even have the guts to go on stage? She got it through sleeping with men, duh. Didn't you hear? She's Si Yihan's new lover. No wonder we heard Miss Sun say that this woman was disgracing today's martial arts conference. From the looks of it, it's more than that. Qin Ruashi originally planned to make Yi Wanwan fight Sun Xuezhen on stage, thus using Sun Xuezhen to humiliate Yi Wanwan. She didn't expect this girl to be so scared to the point where she didn't even dare to go on stage. Did she think things would be fine as long as she didn't go on stage? She had no idea that she was merely making a bigger fool of herself. Qin Ruashi aptly spoke up in her defense. "Xuezhen, forget it. Today's competition was only meant to compare notes anyway. Since Miss Yi doesn't want to go up, we shouldn't force her." The Sea family's guards originally thought the worst outcome would be Yi Wanwan losing her match, causing the Sea family to suffer a crushing defeat. Who knew this woman would be so scared that she wouldn't even go on stage? This is simply too shameful. They originally planned to accumulate some merit today, but it appeared they would become the laughingstocks of the major patrician families after today. The leading guard couldn't help but walk in front of Yi Wanwan, quietly suggesting to her, "Miss Yi, I think you should go on stage to compete regardless of the outcome." Yi Wanwan aloofly glanced at the guard. "I'm not interested in matches like this." Rage boiled in the guard when he saw her attitude, but he didn't dare to unleash it, so he could do nothing but grit his teeth and retreat with humiliation. The experts of the Sun family all looked at the guard with ridicule. "Your representative doesn't have the guts to go on stage. I think you should forget it. Even if she went on stage, she would be thrashed by our miss." As the 5 guards from the Sea family listened to the ridicule from the other family's experts, they stood silently with livid expressions on their faces. Since there were distinguished guests attending today, they couldn't allow the situation to get too ugly. Hence, Sun Lizhong rigidly said, "A match depends on a competitor's free will. Since Miss Yi is unwilling to go on stage, we'll forget about it. Xuezhen, go and compete with Ruashi. The winner will have the chance to receive personal instruction and a match from Mr. Seni." At Sun Lizhong's announcement, Sun Xuezhen could do nothing but endure it. She glanced at Yi Wanwan like she was trash before she quickly jumped onto the stage. "Never mind then. People like her don't deserve to fight with me anyways. Ruashi, let's go." Qin Ruashi awkwardly looked at Yi Wanwan before lightly sighing and going on the stage as well. "Please." Their concentration levels were both at 120%. After all, the winner would have a match with Wolf King Seni later. Chapter 1042 Soon, the matter with Yi Wanwan was overlooked and everyone focused their attention on Sun Xuezhen and Qin Ruoxi. One of them was the eldest miss of a martial arts patrician family while the other was the eldest miss of the Qin family. The Qin family placed great importance on martial arts and was passionate about it, so Qin Ruoxi was considered one of the best amongst the younger generation of the Qin family. Hence, everyone greatly looked forward to their match. Qin Ruoxi and Sun Xuezhen stood across from each other on the stage. "Younger sister Xuezhen, I'll be under your tutelage," Qin Ruoxi said while looking at Sun Xuezhen. Sun Xuezhen chuckled lightly. "Sis Ruoxi, there definitely won't be any tutelage. We're merely comparing notes. I've wanted to fight you for a long time but didn't have the chance until now." After saying that, Sun Xuezhen stepped forward. Her agile body was as light as the wind. She looked like a figure who leaped out of a painting, but she also looked like an extremely fast, nimble cat. Seeing Sun Xuezhen's actions, Master Mu and Wolf King finally started paying attention and nodded their heads with praise. Sun Xuezhen's technique was quite impressive indeed. Not only was it very practical, but it also looked nice and was pleasant on the eyes. Yi Wanwan sunk into contemplation as she watched their match. These people could only compare to Heidi and her group. If they encountered true experts like Nameless Nye, Bewitching Devotee, and Spray of Flowers, they would instantly be obliterated in a single move. Sun Xuezhen's body technique might be unique, but its only advantage was its agility, and it was unsuitable for direct confrontation with people. If Sun Xuezhen was an assassin, however, she would be quite outstanding on the basis of her body technique alone. Whether it was Sun Xuezhen or Qin Ruoxi, the weaknesses in their techniques were clear. If she went up, she could probably discover them within 10 seconds. Currently, Qin Ruoxi was holding back against Sun Xuezhen on stage. Yi Wanwan could tell that Qin Ruoxi wasn't going at full strength. Qin Ruoxi was quite clever indeed, purposefully throwing the match so that Sun Xuezhen could win. After all, this martial arts conference was hosted by the Sun family, so there was no point even if Qin Ruoxi won. Why not relinquish the match as a favor to the Sun family and Sun Xuezhen instead? It had to be said that Qin Ruoxi's skills in currying favor were truly top-notch. Qin Ruoxi was incredibly intense and every move was difficult for Sun Xuezhen to ward off. However, moments later, she would purposefully leave a few openings so Sun Xuezhen could exploit them. As time went on, everyone could tell that Qin Ruoxi's skills in martial arts were higher than Sun Xuezhen's. Every time Qin Ruoxi purposefully forced Sun Xuezhen back and displayed her strength, she would quickly fall back into a disadvantage, and this continued back and forth. About 7 or 8 minutes later, Qin Ruoxi made a mistake in her movements and Sun Xuezhen instantly took advantage of it and slashed her hand through the air like a knife. Qin Ruoxi had no choice but to flee outside the boundaries of the stage. Miss Sun Xuezhen wins. The second Qin Ruoxi left the stage, the referee team announced the winner of the match. Upon seeing this result, Sun Lizhong looked pleased and looked at Qin Ruoxi with great appreciation. With his attainments in martial arts, how could Sun Lizhong not tell that Qin Ruoxi intentionally yielded to Sun Xuezhen? Otherwise, the winner this time absolutely wouldn't have been his daughter. Chapter 1043, Ruoxi. After the winner was announced, Sun Xuezhen briefly looked astonished. This was a strenuous fight. If it weren't for Qin Ruoxi giving her some leeway every now and then, she would have been defeated long ago. Sun Xuezhen originally thought Qin Ruoxi merely didn't want her loss to look as bad, but she didn't expect Qin Ruoxi to straight up yield the victory to her. Younger sister Xuezhen is truly outstanding. I was no match. Congratulations to younger sister Xuezhen for winning on behalf of the Sun family, Qin Ruoxi told Sun Xuezhen with a smile. When Sun Xuezhen heard that, she merely smiled and said, "Ruoxi, you're very strong. I greatly respect you." After saying that, Sun Xuezhen nonchalantly glanced at Yi Wanwan with disgust in her eyes. Referee, is the representative of the C family really not required to compete? Sun Xuezhen asked the referee team, evidently unable to repress her indignation. An elderly referee stood up and looked at Yi Wanwan as he probed. Miss Yi, you're representing the C family today. Please go on stage and compete with the representative of the Sun family. You must compete since you're the representative of the C family. This is the rule, the elderly referee added with more force behind his words. This time, Yi Wanwan didn't hold back and stood up. All right. Since the referee said this was the rule, she had to obey the rules. Upon seeing that Yi Wanwan was finally agreeing to fight, Qin Ruoshi's lips turned up into an inexplicably cold smile. On stage, Sun Xuezhen watched as Yi Wanwan slowly walked toward her and said, "Don't worry. I'll make sure you have an unforgettable fight." Okay. Yi Wanwan nodded indifferently. The guards of the C family were somewhat worried though. Although Yi Wanwan wouldn't be beaten to death after the match started, she would definitely be half beaten to death. They humiliated themselves enough already. If Yi Wanwan couldn't retaliate against Sun Xuezhen in the slightest and got half beaten to death, wouldn't they be further humiliated? Soon, Yi Wanwan was on stage, completely ignoring the mocking gazes surrounding her. The match begins, the referee team quickly announced. Simultaneously, Sun Xuezhen stepped forward, charging toward Yi Wanwan. However, Yi Wanwan stayed rooted in her spot as though she didn't see Sun Xuezhen. Haha, is the representative of the C family dumbstruck? She probably can't react in time. After all, she's nothing but a normal woman. The audience fervently gossiped amongst themselves. At that moment, Yi Wanwan suddenly waved her hand. Referee, I forfeit. When Sun Xuezhen heard her, she instantly froze. Her hand was still hanging in the air but it didn't land. What was going on? Yi Wanwan, the representative of the C family, walked on stage, and then promptly forfeited. The referee team found themselves in a difficult situation. She admitted defeat without a single move. What was this? They had never encountered this type of situation before. Qin Ruoshi's brows furrowed slightly at Yi Wanwan's words. Don't torment the poor miss. She's used to living a pampered lifestyle in an extravagant mansion, so what could she know about this? It would be bad if Sister Xuezhen hurt her. That's right. Free will is important. Since Miss Yi is merely the C family representative, she isn't required to compete on the stage. Chapter 1044. The C family's expertise doesn't lie in martial arts. They're a business patrician family. Yet, you just had to make the C family representative fight with a daughter of a martial arts patrician family. What's the reasoning behind this? Don't bully people. Immediately, many audience members spoke up on Yi Wanwan's behalf. If Yi Wanwan was a martial artist, it would have been normal for her to go on stage and fight. However, she was obviously an average person without any knowledge of martial arts. Forcing her to go on stage and fight was truly too inconsiderate. Yi Wanwan turned to look at the referee team and calmly stated, I went on stage since going on stage is part of the rules. There shouldn't be any issues if I forfeit now, right? If her opponent was Nameless Nye and the others, she would certainly fight this match even if she knew she would be trampled bloody. However, reneging on her promise to these people was a bad bargain no matter how she thought about it. Sun Xuezhen and Qin Ruoshi weren't qualified to even be instructed by her. Wouldn't she be helping them if she fought them? Moreover, she really had no desire or interest in fighting them. The C family representative forfeits. The Sun family is in first place, the Qin family is in second place, and the C family is in last place. Soon, a referee announced the results. The guards from the C family sighed. If they knew this would be the result, they wouldn't have come today. In the VIP seats, Wolf King Seni spoke with Sun Lishong briefly before standing up and walking toward the stage. Wolf King Seni will compare notes with my daughter. Welcome. Sun Lishong exclaimed with a grin. Thunderous applause instantly resounded from everyone. As Sun Xuezhen watched Wolf King Seni walking onto the stage, her expression was rather excited. Soon, Wolf King Seni was standing on stage and looking at Sun Xuezhen. He nodded and placed his hands behind his back. Start as you wish. Don't be courteous. Sun Xuezhen nodded and promptly utilized everything she knew to attack Wolf King Seni. However, The Muay Thai champion could easily block Sun Xuezhen's attack with a mere finger. This, Sun Xuezhen was astonished and filled with disbelief. Although she knew he was very strong, she didn't realize he was strong to this degree. You might be fast, but your strength is a bit weak. Please continue, Wolf King Seni stated. Sun Xuezhen flushed red upon hearing that and used all her strength to attack him. However, every full-forced attack was easily dismantled by Wolf King Seni. If he was genuinely her enemy, she probably would have died a countless number of times already. During the fifth bout of attacks, Wolf King Seni appeared to have lost interest and broke Sun Xuezhen's move before pressing her to the ground with a palm. Lost, Sun Xuezhen said while staring at Wolf King Seni. Yes, you're still young. You're quite decent already, Wolf King Seni politely said before extending his arm toward her. Yi Wanwan thoughtfully watched the fight between Sun Xuezhen and Wolf King Seni. The strength of this Wolf King didn't seem that great either. Could it be that I find everyone average because I hung out with nameless Nye and his group for too long? She hadn't fought for a while, nor had she compared notes with 11 and Feng Shuani, so only she knew her recent improvements. Suddenly, a commotion was heard from the entrance, and everyone looked over. A giant bang, and several security guards flew backward like snipped kites. Sun Lishong immediately stood up and looked at the uninvited guests. Chapter 1045. The newcomers had Asian faces but weren't Chinese. They looked like they were from the countries near China instead. There were 3 men in total. The leader wore a suit with a swept-back hairstyle and had a grin on his face, resembling a gentleman. Who are you? Sun Lishong angrily shouted as he stared at the man in a suit. Oh, me. The man in a suit pointed at himself before saying with a smile, Yamamoto Tsubasa. Yamamoto Tsubasa? From country R? Sun Lizhong's face instantly darkened. The martial arts culture between country R and China had always clashed quite intensely. Yamamoto Tsubasa, supposedly the top karate genius from country R, Wolf King Seni thoughtfully commented. Oh, the genius who defeated the head of karate in country R, Sato-san? Sun Lishong was startled. Yamamoto Tsubasa's fame rang in country R's karate world like a clap of thunder, so Sun Lishong naturally knew about him. You're not welcome here. Sun Lishong promptly yelled at Yamamoto Tsubasa. Due to their intense conflict, the martial arts experts in country R and China didn't have amicable relationships. Tsk tisk. Yamamoto Tsubasa snorted. It doesn't matter whether you welcome me or not. Then, Yamamoto Tsubasa pointed at Qin Ruashi, Sun Xuezhen, and Yi Wanwan. What? Is everyone in China's 3 top patrician families dead? You actually sent out 3 women as representatives. Aren't you ashamed? What did you say? Sun Lishong furiously roared. Don't be agitated, you mustn't be agitated. Yamamoto Tsubasa lightly chuckled and pushed up his glasses. Don't be agitated, you mustn't be agitated. I'm not targeting your Sun family. What I mean is that everyone here is trash. You should stick to being businessmen. Chinese people's genetics aren't good enough for martial arts. You, Sun Lishong harshly clenched his teeth with rage. Did Yamamoto Tsubasa come here to seek death? The man's words offended everyone here. They say that China's 3 major patrician families are very strong. You happen to hold a martial arts conference today, so I plan to beat the 3 representatives of China's 3 major patrician families to death. Or we could let the 3 representatives kill me. How about that? You're dead. Sun Xuezhen stepped forward at once. However, Wolf King Seni blocked Sun Xuezhen and looked at Yamamoto Tsubasa. He snorted. I heard your karate was superb, so I've wanted to test it myself for a while. Since I bumped into you today, I can't let this chance pass me by. Oh, Wolf King Seni, this matter has nothing to do with you. Don't go begging for humiliation, all right? Yamamoto Tsubasa said with a chuckle. Upon hearing this, anger erupted in Seni. A cold glint flashed in his eyes and he raised both fists, unleashing all of his strength before charging toward Yamamoto Tsubasa. Excitement shot through everyone when they saw Seni attacking. However, Yamamoto Tsubasa merely sighed. In a fraction of a second, his right arm was raised and was fiercely slashed toward his opponent like a blade. In front of everyone, a karate chop landed on Seni's neck. With a groan, Seni collapsed onto the ground. Heh! Yamamoto Tsubasa walked up and stepped on Seni's back. I told you. You're all trash. Yet, you just had to ask for humiliation. What was the point? This scene overwhelmed everyone with shock and stunned them. This genius of karate from country R actually obliterated the Muay Thai champion, Seni, with a one-hit KO. Chapter 1046. 1046. Even Qin Ruoshi, Sun Lizhong, and Sun Lizhong were frozen in place, dumbfounded. They were well aware of Wolf King Seni's strength, but this karate genius from country R defeated Wolf King Seni in one move. Yamamoto Tsubasa kicked Wolf King Seni several meters away. Sun Lizhong immediately had someone go and help Wolf King Seni up. Don't go too far. The 10 experts from the Sun family and the Qin family immediately surrounded Yamamoto Tsubasa. A bunch of trash. No matter how many people you have, you're still trash, okay? Yamamoto Tsubasa said with a chuckle as he watched the 10 people. Go! The strongest member of the Qin group shouted and waved his arm forward, leading the other 9 people to attack Yamamoto Tsubasa. However, the 10 of them were sent flying back by Yamamoto Tsubasa in an instant. This? Sun Lizhong was in utter disbelief, stupefied. Step forward, the 3 representatives from the Sun family, the Qin family, and the Si family. Yamamoto Tsubasa took a step forward and walked onto the stage, his fingers pointing at Yi Wanwan, Qin Ruoshi, and Sun Xuezhen. Qin Ruoshi and Sun Xuezhen both had deep frowns on their faces. This person was terrifyingly strong. He defeated even Wolf King Seni in one move, so how could they take him on? What? Scared? If you're scared, then you can attack me together. I don't care. Otherwise, if you make me invite you over personally, I might end up killing you today. Yamamoto Tsubasa snorted as his eyes swept over the 3 of them. You! Anger flitted in Sun Xuezhen's eyes as she prepared to go up. However, Qin Ruoshi blocked Sun Xuezhen immediately. Xuezhen, don't act rashly, Qin Ruoshi said with a frown. Ruoshi, the martial artists from country are on our doorstep. How could I tolerate that? Sun Xuezhen shouted angrily. Can you defeat him? Qin Ruoshi retorted. Sun Xuezhen was rendered speechless. The strength of this Yamamoto guy was tyrannical from the beginning. 10 Sun Xuezhens wouldn't be enough to defeat Yamamoto Tsubasa. Even if Qin Ruoshi and Sun Xuezhen teamed up, they couldn't take a few of his moves. What? You really won't attack? Yamamoto Tsubasa scoffed at Sun Xuezhen. Your Sun family is truly full of cowards. I'm already provoking you like this, but you still endure it. His words successfully triggered Sun Xuezhen. She couldn't hold back any longer and disregarded Qin Ruoshi, leaping onto the stage. When Qin Ruoshi saw that, she had to do the same. Oh, it appears you have a backbone, Yamamoto Tsubasa commented with a sneer. Yamamoto Tsubasa, you're too arrogant. Sun Xuezhen shouted icily. You think I'm arrogant? Then show me your strength. Yamamoto Tsubasa scoffed. You're asking for it? Sun Xuezhen angrily roared and attacked Yamamoto Tsubasa like a flash of lightning. Upon seeing that, Qin Ruoshi had no choice but to attack as well. Yamamoto Tsubasa stood on the stage unmoving with a derisive smile on his lips. He allowed Sun Xuezhen and Qin Ruoshi to attack however they wanted, while he nimbly dodged with his arms behind his back. The 2 women launched dozens of attacks but weren't able to touch even the corner of Yamamoto Tsubasa's clothes. Sun Lizhong had a deep frown on his face. Yamamoto Tsubasa was too strong. Qin Ruoshi and Sun Xuezhen weren't a match for him at all. You are the representatives for 2 of the 3 major patrician families in China? You're a giant disappointment. Chinese martial artists are truly garbage and not worth mentioning, Yamamoto Tsubasa said with a light sigh in between his dodges. After saying that, Yamamoto Tsubasa's right leg shot out like an arrow and slammed into Qin Ruashi and Sun Shueijin with explosive strength. The two women couldn't withstand it and fell down from the stage. Chapter 1047, A Bunch of Garbage. Yamamoto Tsubasa remarked with a sneer as he swept his eyes over everyone except for the fallen duo. Without waiting for anyone else to speak, Yamamoto Tsubasa looked at Yi Wanwan, who was sitting in the audience area. Representative of the C family, do you plan to come up yourself, or do you want me to come over and beat you to death? Yi Wanwan completely ignored him and stood up. She left the audience area and looked at the patriarch of the Sun family. Since the conference has finished, I'll bid farewell. Yamamoto Tsubasa was obviously targeting the Sun family and came to cause trouble. The Sun family's private disputes weren't a part of the martial arts conference. Sun Lizhong had a dark expression but didn't say anything. Mr. Mu, I welcome you to visit the Sea House whenever you're free. Yi Wanwan turned to look at Master Mu in the VIP section. Okay, I'll definitely visit when I have time, Miss Yi, Mu Suifeng replied. Yi Wanwan nodded and told the 5C family guards, let's go. Immediately, the guards followed Yi Wanwan and prepared to leave. However, Yamamoto Tsubasa left the stage in a flash and blocked Yi Wanwan's path. He looked at Yi Wanwan and sneered. Representative of the C family. It looks like you're a very unique piece of trash, am I right? Yi Wanwan frowned when she heard this and said, then you're very unsavory trash. Oh? In your eyes, I'm also a piece of trash, huh? Yamamoto Tsubasa replied with interest. Please move aside. China has a saying, a good dog doesn't block someone's path. Have you heard it before, sir? Yi Wanwan asked. Sun Shueijin, Qin Ruashi, and the other people were secretly sneering at Yi Wanwan. This woman was truly courting death. The two of them had experienced Yamamoto Tsubasa's terrifying strength for themselves. An ignorant person was truly fearless. Yamamoto Tsubasa, although this miss is the representative of the C family, she's merely the C patriarch's girlfriend and doesn't know martial arts, so please don't torment her and allow her to leave, Sun Lizhong said with a frown. After all, this was the Sun family's territory. If anything happened to Yi Wanwan, it would be difficult to explain to the C family. Oh, she doesn't know martial arts, yet she became the representative of the C family. It turns out she's the lover of that invalid from the C family. Ha! Yamamoto Tsubasa started laughing with ridicule. After hearing his words, Yi Wanwan's expressionless face finally changed imperceptibly, and an icy glint flashed through her eyes. The corners of Yamamoto Tsubasa's lips turned up. Then it doesn't matter even if you don't fight me. As he said that, he glanced at the man in a white suit behind him. Upon seeing that, the cold man in the white suit stepped forward. Yamamoto Tsubasa brought two disciples there, one of which was the man in a white suit. He was Kawada, a karate expert. Kawada approached the C family guards without a word. Suddenly, Kawada threw a punch. Bang! A guard instantly collapsed to the floor. The punched guard couldn't react at all, and his body started convulsing with pain. A bunch of garbage, Kawada said with a scoff. If these people were beaten to death by my disciple because of you, it would be difficult for you to explain it to the C family, right? Yamamoto Tsubasa sneered contemptuously. Chapter 1048, 1048. Everyone present shook their heads and sighed. The C family's pride had been completely destroyed by this woman today. The other four guards of the C family gritted their teeth with fury. However, Kawada was too strong. They couldn't even see when Kawada attacked. Without giving them time to think, Kawada raised his hand again and attacked another guard. His palm was extremely fast, and only the whipping whoosh of wind could be heard. However, in a fraction of a second, Yi Wanwan moved. At the same time, a crisp slap was heard. Kawada's attack was forcibly blocked by Yi Wanwan. Oh! Kawada's eyes glinted. This woman was able to stop his attack. You want to compete with me that much? Yi Wanwan released Kawada and looked at Yamamoto Tsubasa, her eyes like the unfathomable ocean. To me you're a piece of trash, that's all. Yamamoto Tsubasa stared at Yi Wanwan with interest. However, you're the representative of the C family, and my goal for coming here today was to smush the 3 great clans under my feet. Unfortunately, every single one of you is garbage, so I wouldn't gain any pleasure even if I did stomp on you, am I right? You can try, Yi Wanwan said. Heh, considering that you're a piece of trash, I'll give you 10 seconds to prepare. In 10 seconds, I'll beat you to death, Yamamoto Tsubasa told her with a sneer while looking at her. However, as soon as Yamamoto Tsubasa finished talking, Yi Wanwan suddenly raised her arm. Slap. The crisp slap reverberated throughout the area. In front of everyone, Yi Wanwan slapped Yamamoto Tsubasa. Yamamoto Tsubasa regained his wits, and a cold glint flashed through his eyes. You dared to sneak attack me, sneak attack? Upon hearing that, Yi Wanwan snorted contemptuously. You gave me 10 seconds to prepare, but I finished preparing in a second. This slap was my offense. You merely didn't block it, so how could you say I sneak attacked you? Sun Xuezhen commented with a sneer. This woman is twisting words and forcing logic. How could she do something as low as carrying out a sneak attack? Words flew everywhere amongst the onlookers. They all loathed and disapproved of Yi Wanwan's rogue style of sneak attack. You are really trying to die today, aren't you? A cold glint flashed through Yamamoto Tsubasa's eyes and his palm shot toward Yi Wanwan. Slap. Without waiting for Yamamoto Tsubasa's palm to approach, Yi Wanwan stepped to the side before giving Yamamoto Tsubasa another loud slap. The 2 successive loud slaps sent Yamamoto Tsubasa into a mad rage. He swung his arm up and directed the side of his palm toward her neck. An icy glint flitted in Yi Wanwan's eyes, and without anyone seeing, she grabbed Yamamoto Tsubasa's hand in an instant. Yi Wanwan's hand was like an enormous mountain, unshakable and powerful. No matter what Yamamoto Tsubasa did, he couldn't escape from Yi Wanwan's grasp. At the same time, Yi Wanwan's right hand extended toward Yamamoto Tsubasa but stopped 3 inches away. Within 2 breaths' time, Yi Wanwan drew in strength from her hips and gathered all her power into her right palm. This palm was as fast as lightning and astonishingly powerful. Everyone present was stupefied. No one saw the tracks of Yi Wanwan's palm. Bang! The next second, Yi Wanwan's palm ferociously landed on Yamamoto Tsubasa's forehead with a loud bang. Under everyone's unbelievable eyes, Yamamoto Tsubasa released a wretched scream, and his body was sent flying dozens of meters back like a snipped kite. This is impossible. Sun Xuezhen shot up. She was in complete disbelief from this scene. What? Qin Ruashi's calm face also cracked. Chapter 1049. How could this be possible? Everyone was rooted to their spots like they were petrified as they looked at the fallen Yamamoto Tsubasa. Their mouths opened imperceptibly, but they couldn't utter a word. This was like a dream. Yamamoto Tsubasa, who defeated Wolf King Seni in 1 hit, was sent flying back dozens of meters when faced with the seemingly weaker Yi Wanwan. Did he deliberately go easy on her? A martial artist from the Sun family had a deep frown on his face. No way did he believe that Yamamoto Tsubasa could be defeated with 1 strike by Yi Wanwan. Go easy, are you joking? The C representative was using strength of an inch just now. Every inch was more explosive than before. Yamamoto Tsubasa didn't even have time to react, so how could he have gone easy on her? A martial artist exclaimed with a fervid expression. Anyone who had a foundation in martial arts could tell with a glance whether there was any leniency in a fight between experts. The majority of the martial artists present could perceive Qin Ruashi going easy on Sun Xuezhen earlier, not to mention the overwhelming explosive strength from Yi Wanwan. From the VIP seats, Master Mu suddenly shuddered and looked at Yi Wanwan in astonishment. The aura around the girl completely changed when she attacked. More importantly, why were the instantaneous, explosive moves and style coming from Yi Wanwan so familiar? Wolf King Seni's eyes also shot open in disbelief. Other people might not understand Yamamoto Tsubasa's strength, but he fought Yamamoto earlier and was 1-hit KO. So how could he not know Yamamoto's strength? Yet that C representative who supposedly didn't know martial arts. A few seconds later, Yamamoto Tsubasa slowly stood up, and a cold glint flashed through his eyes as he stared at Yi Wanwan. "You're too weak," Yamamoto Tsubasa sneered. "I purposefully allowed you to punch me just now. Unfortunately, I barely felt it. How disappointing." In Yamamoto Tsubasa's opinion, this woman was quite strong, but she only got the better of him because he wasn't on guard at all. Of course, he wouldn't say that in front of everyone. When everyone heard Yamamoto Tsubasa's words, realization dawned on them. It turned out that Yamamoto Tsubasa was deliberately going easy on Yi Wanwan and allowed her a punch. I actually thought that woman had some talent. But after all this fuss, it turned out Yamamoto Tsubasa deliberately went easy on her, Sun Shueijin said with a scoff. Chin Ruashi also relaxed slightly, but her hands were still curled into tight fists. "But I have to say, that woman has quite some strength," a certain disciple of the Sun family commented. Meanwhile, Yamamoto Tsubasa was watching the expressionless Yi Wanwan with a bone-chilling smile sliding over his face. Immediately after, he strode toward Yi Wanwan. Swish! The sound of wind was heard, then Yamamoto Tsubasa swept his leg up with his hands inside his pant pockets, a nearly perfect combination of strength and speed behind the kick. Yamamoto Tsubasa defeated Wolf King Seni with this exact same move earlier. Upon seeing that, the Sun and Chin families watched from the side in amusement. Even Wolf King Seni was knocked out without a chance to retaliate by this kick, so they reckoned this C representative would probably be crippled by this kick. Nonetheless, there was also quite a lot of people present who were worried about Yi Wanwan. After all, she was only a mere girl and wasn't a martial artist. Wasn't Yamamoto Tsubasa's attack too vicious? Swish! However, before anyone could react, Yi Wanwan performed an identical kick directed at Yamamoto Tsubasa. Although the speed and strength behind Yi Wanwan's kick weren't as perfect as Yamamoto Tsubasa's, she used a very tricky angle. Before Yamamoto Tsubasa could make any adjustments, Yi Wanwan's kick mercilessly landed right behind his knee. Chapter 1050. Immediately, a groan rang out, and Yamamoto Tsubasa's expression drastically changed. The intense pain in the back of his knees caused a cold sweat to drench his forehead. He hobbled back a few steps. Yamamoto Tsubasa might have retreated, but Yi Wanwan swiftly shot forward and raised her left arm, as though she was about to slap the right side of Yamamoto Tsubasa's face. Almost reflexively, Yamamoto Tsubasa raised his arms to block her. Seeing this, Yi Wanwan lowered her arm and looked at Yamamoto Tsubasa's raised arm position with amusement. "You played me?" Yamamoto Tsubasa quickly regained his wits and angrily glared at Yi Wanwan. However, as soon as Yamamoto Tsubasa spoke, Yi Wanwan raised her left arm again. Upon seeing this, Yamamoto Tsubasa entered defensive mode reflexively again. Slap! Yi Wanwan snorted. She raised her right arm and viciously slapped Yamamoto Tsubasa's left cheek. "I'll kill you!" Yamamoto Tsubasa immediately shouted after being slapped and slashed his hand at Yi Wanwan's neck like a blade. Yi Wanwan stood unmoving in her spot but firmly caught Yamamoto Tsubasa's hand in a fraction of a second. Her left arm was like a clamp, astonishingly strong. Yamamoto Tsubasa wouldn't be able to extract his hand in a short amount of time. Slap! Yi Wanwan held Yamamoto Tsubasa's right hand and mercilessly slapped his face with it. "Still want to fight?" Yi Wanwan asked as she calmly looked at Yamamoto Tsubasa and his swollen face. "Woman, you're dead." Yamamoto Tsubasa fiercely glared at Yi Wanwan. Slap! Following Yamamoto Tsubasa's comment, Yi Wanwan delivered another merciless slap on his face. "Still dead?" Yi Wanwan sneered, the cold glint in her eyes flashing. She was able to take care of this man quickly, but she changed her mind as soon as she thought back to this piece of trash's words from earlier. Everyone present was stupefied and rooted to their spots. Then Yamamoto Tsubasa released an angry roar and stopped trying to get out of Yi Wanwan's hold. Instead, he tightly clutched Yi Wanwan and wanted to use the force behind his clutch to push Yi Wanwan down. However, Yi Wanwan had sharp eyes and an agile body. When Yamamoto Tsubasa was about to grab her, She bent her body slightly and gathered all the power in her body to one point and unleashed it explosively. From an onlooker's point of view, it was like Yi Wanwan grabbed Yamamoto Tsubasa and bent backward, slamming him to the ground heavily. The loud sound alone seemed painful to everyone. Sun Lishong looked at Yi Wanwan with disbelief brimming in his eyes. The powerful Yamamoto Tsubasa was nothing but a toy in this woman's hands. Every one of Yamamoto Tsubasa's attacks was foreseen by Yi Wanwan, and she responded beautifully to them. Although Yi Wanwan's speed and strength didn't match up to Yamamoto Tsubasa's, her martial arts and wrestling skills surpassed Yamamoto Tsubasa by a galaxy. These two people were on entirely different levels. The people from the Sun and Qin families who mocked and ridiculed Yi Wanwan in all sorts of ways earlier had now sunken into silence. They looked at her nimble figure like they'd seen a ghost. The area was dead silent. How could a seemingly tiny and fragile body contain such frighteningly explosive strength? And how did she see through Yamamoto Tsubasa's attacks and movements? Yi Wanwan suppressed Yamamoto Tsubasa with every attack, and Yamamoto Tsubasa was utterly defenseless against her. If this was a life-or-death match, Yamamoto Tsubasa would have been beaten to death a long time ago. This woman is simply too terrifying. Chapter 1051. 1051. After Yamamoto Tsubasa crashed to the ground, he laid there, unmoving. From the looks of it, Yi Wanwan's smash probably caused some internal damage. Everyone was dumbfounded. It was dead silent for a few seconds before everyone finally reacted, and a storm rolled over them. "Damn, so strong!" Bing Exen exclaimed from the Sun family's side, his eyes as bright as two light bulbs. "I didn't expect Miss Yi to secretly be so skilled." Zhou Hen's feelings were complicated. No wonder she wasn't interested in going on stage. She's on a completely different level than us. I thought our miss was already outstanding in her generation, but it appears no matter strong you are, there's always someone stronger. As for the Qin family, the 5 experts were incredulous as they looked at the girl who defeated Yamamoto Tsubasa. They didn't dare to believe that Yamamoto Tsubasa, who defeated Wolf King Seni and rendered Sun Shuezhen and their miss defenseless, was actually defeated by this fragile and dainty woman. This woman's strength was actually stronger than Miss Ruashi. No, her strength surpassed Miss Ruashi's by too much. This is my damn first time seeing a woman skillful to this extent. No wonder Si Yihan appointed her to be the representative of the Si family. Right? I bow to her. When the 5 guards of the Si family heard the other experts' endless exclamations and conversations, they felt their blood boiling and thought they were dreaming. Oh, our miss is actually this impressive? The 5 of them looked at each other, bewildered. They all felt their faces flushing due to their previous misjudgments of her. Master! Master, how are you? Yamamoto Tsubasa's 2 disciples turned pale with fright and charged onto the stage. Kawada looked at Yi Wanwan like she was some freak. Yi Wanwan languidly walked forward with raised brows. What? When Kawada and the other disciples saw Yi Wanwan suddenly walking forward, they instantly scrambled backward. Don't come over. How could they have the nerve to be brash if even Yamamoto Tsubasa got beaten up like this? Yi Wanwan continued walking toward Yamamoto Tsubasa. The 2 disciples froze as though their feet were nailed to the stage and didn't dare to move. Yi Wanwan slowly reached the groaning man. Do you want to go easy on me again? As soon as Yamamoto Tsubasa heard that, his face drained of color and his body started spasming. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. It's my loss. He was too careless this time. He never would have thought this woman would be stronger than him. Whether it was 10 or 100 rounds, the ending would be the same. The people below the stage might be unaware, but he knew how serious his injuries were after that match. He absolutely couldn't have another match with her, unless he had no desire to live anymore. This woman didn't only have frightening strength, but her attacks were also too vicious. When the people below the stage heard Yamamoto Tsubasa's admission of defeat, excitement overran them. Well beaten. Who told him to have his nose so high up in the air? China's martial arts stretches far back in history and is broad and profound. How dare you come to our lands and behave so atrociously? In the end, Yamamoto Tsubasa was carried by his 2 disciples and fled with his tail between his legs under a torrent of insults. Chapter 1052. Underneath the stage, Sun Lizhong was extremely embarrassed. Someone came to the Sun family's doorstep and challenged them, but they were completely wiped out and ended up needing to be saved by a girl. Sun Lizhong awkwardly coughed. The young really need to be viewed with awe. Mu Suifeng didn't say anything as he stared at the girl on the stage. His emotions had been in turmoil for a while. Meanwhile, Sun Xuezhen's mocking and disapproving expression was frozen on her face, and Qin Ruashi's face was ashen white. They never would have expected this outcome, Qin Ruashi especially. Qin Ruashi personally witnessed Yi Wanwan's skills, and Yi Wanwan was clearly weaker than her. How did she improve so much in such a short amount of time? Or had she always been hiding her true strength? Everything that she planned today crumbled into pieces. After Yamamoto Tsubasa left, Yi Wanwan also got off the stage. Immediately, the 5 guards from the Xi family swarmed toward her and reverently followed her. Mu Suifeng also walked forward and pressingly asked, "Miss Yi, if I may I ask where your teachings came from?" Yi Wanwan honestly replied, "I don't belong to any school. I learned without any guidance by myself." "You don't have a school?" The suspicion in Mu Suifeng's eyes deepened. Then, who's your master?" "Yi Wanwan, I also don't have a master." Mu Suifeng wanted to inquire further upon hearing that, but seeing as there were too many people around them, he suppressed his questions and remarked, "Miss Yi is actually self-taught. It appears you're very talented in martial arts." Although Sun Lizhong was embarrassed, he parroted Mu Suifeng and said, "Miss Yi is quite extraordinary indeed." At that point, Sun Xuezhen suddenly strode over from the crowd and bluntly said, "Miss Yi, since you know martial arts, why did you deliberately forfeit? Could it be that you look down on the Sun family?" Yi Wanwan raised her eyebrows. "Is there a rule in this conference that says I can't forfeit and that forfeiting implies I look down on my opponent?" "You." Sun Xuezhen, who insisted on using the rules to decide things, was at a loss for words. She had to forcibly repress her fury before she could say, "Then fine. We can let go of all that stuff from before. However, I want you to honorably fight with me." Unless she personally exchanged blows with this woman, she absolutely wouldn't believe she was inferior to this Barbie doll. Qin Ruashi hastily walked over and tried to dissuade her. "Xuezhen, don't be rash." Sun Xuezhen looked stubborn. "Ruashi, don't try to change my mind. I'm going to have this match today for sure." After Xuezhen said that, she looked at Yi Wanwan and asked, "What? You don't dare? Could it be that your education was unorthodox and that winning today was merely chance?" Sun Lizhong's brows knitted together slightly. He originally wanted to tell his daughter to come back but didn't say anything in the end. Qin Ruashi also automatically looked at Yi Wanwan, wishfully thinking just like Sun Lizhong. Yi Wanwan's skills were simply too unbelievable. Yi Wanwan peered up at Sun Xuezhen. She came to participate in the martial arts conference, and now that the conference had ended, she didn't have any obligations to fight Sun Xuezhen. However, Sun Xuezhen just had to provoke her over and over again. A match? Okay, Yi Wanwan agreed with a smile. Yep, when it comes to fighting, since I've broken the rules already, it doesn't make a difference whether it's 1 or 2 times. Chapter 1053. 1053. A cold glint radiated from Sun Xuezhen's eyes, and she leaped up, jumping onto the stage. Yi Wanwan ascended the stairs again and returned to the stage. Everyone's eyes instantly focused on them. Sun Xuezhen snorted. "Miss Yi, my apologies, but I really don't believe you're truly as strong as what we saw." She was heaven's blessed daughter, the eldest miss of the Sun family. She was born in a martial arts patrician family and had gone through training that no normal person could endure since she was young. Even the equally talented Qin Ruashi was defeated by her, so how could she let this weak woman steal her limelight? Furthermore, Sun Xuezhen suspected Yi Wanwan and Yamamoto Tsubasa collaborated beforehand. She probably bribed Yamamoto Tsubasa to come and challenge the Sun family. Then she would defeat him and boost the C family's reputation. The C family was absolutely capable of bribing Yamamoto Tsubasa, so this was a very likely possibility. Sun Xuezhen firmly believed in her hypothesis. She was going to personally shatter this woman's pretentious mask and let everyone see that this woman was a piece of trash through and through. Please instruct me. Sun Xuezhen's eyes revealed her disdain and loathing as she stared at Yi Wanwan. Without waiting for Yi Wanwan to respond, Sun Xuezhen stepped forward and appeared in front of Yi Wanwan in the blink of an eye. She twisted her wrist and reached for Yi Wanwan. However, Yi Wanwan stayed rooted to her spot with an indifferent expression. Swish! Sun Xuezhen's right palm landed and a sound reverberated around them. In a fraction of a second, Yi Wanwan dodged by bending slightly to the left with her arms behind her back. Boom! Sun Xuezhen missed. Impossible! Sun Xuezhen's expression drastically changed. In disbelief, she continued to direct attack after attack at Yi Wanwan, her fists flying toward Yi Wanwan like raindrops. Under everyone's stunned gazes, Yi Wanwan kept her feet glued to the ground and merely moved her waist, shifting left and right occasionally. Soon enough, she had breezily dodged 10 or so attacks from Sun Xuezhen. Your speed is too slow, and you are too weak, Yi Wanwan glibly commented with a faint smile. When everyone heard Yi Wanwan's words, they were in disbelief. She was dodging while also telling Sun Xuezhen about her weaknesses. You're dead. Sun Xuezhen's face was dark, and her attacks became fiercer. Although your palm speed is decent, your strength is still too mediocre, Yi Wanwan coolly said while slightly shifting her upper body. This punch has too many weaknesses. The angle of this kick isn't right. Everyone was stupefied. Slap. When Sun Xuezhen's final palm was about to strike her, Yi Wanwan raised her right arm and lightly grasped Sun Xuezhen's right hand. I don't even have the desire to dodge this hit, Yi Wanwan said while looking at Sun Xuezhen. What did you say? Sun Xuezhen flew into a rage. Wasn't it you who wanted me to give you pointers? Yi Wanwan chuckled before releasing Sun Xuezhen's hand. Then, without waiting for Sun Xuezhen to reply, Yi Wanwan copied Sun Xuezhen and twisted her wrist, attacking Sun Xuezhen. Yi Wanwan's palm position was completely identical to Sun Xuezhen's palm earlier, and the speed, strength, and angle were all perfect. Bang! Before anyone could react, Sun Xuezhen's body crashed to the ground below the stage like a snipped kite after Yi Wanwan's palm hit her in the abdomen. Chapter 1054. A commotion erupted in the training grounds the moment Sun Xuezhen was launched off the stage. Damn! This is too insane, isn't it? This woman not only sees through other people's weakness but can also replicate their moves in such a short amount of time. That move just now was our Miss Trump card. When Qin Ruoshi saw that Sun Xuezhen lost and instead allowed Yi Wanwan a chance to shine brightly again, the calmness on her face finally crumbled little by little until darkness completely eclipsed her face. She originally completely disregarded Yi Wanwan, but things kept escaping from her plan and control again and again. Xuezhen, are you all right? Qin Ruoshi wiped the darkness from her face and hurriedly went to help Sun Xuezhen up. Damn! How? Sun Xuezhen slammed her fist to the ground. She never would have imagined that she would be defeated by a Barbie. To top it off, the Barbie defeated her with her own move. There wasn't a defeat more humiliating than this. Some distance away, Senny had admiration on his face and couldn't help but sigh. It turns out this is the true strength of Chinese martial arts. My trip to China this time was worth it. In contrast to Sun Xuezhen's chaotic moves, Yi Wanwan's moves were very simple and vicious, but she had a perfect grasp of strength and speed. Her explosive strength per inch was especially stunning. After this match, no one below the stage expressed any further doubts about Yi Wanwan's strength. The C family was a business patrician family and sent 5 people to fill the numbers for this martial arts conference to be a good host to Mr. Mu. They naturally didn't care about winning or losing. Yet they had viewed this girl with a bias and kept mistreating her. Their behavior was a true disgrace to patrician etiquette. What made them more ashamed was that they had so many people, including a supposed martial arts patrician family and military patrician family, but they couldn't even compare to a girl who was self-taught. Yi Wanwan calmly looked at the fallen son Shuezhen. I am truly not some orthodox practitioner. However, to me, as long as I can win, who cares? When Mu Suifeng heard this, a glint flitted through his eyes. He agreed excitedly, that's right. Shapeless and formless, simplicity is the way. Miss Ye's understanding of martial arts is truly superior. Yi Wanwan, please, I was spouting nonsense. How did he fill in the blanks to this extent? Shuezhen, come back. Miss Ye's strength is incontestable, Sun Lishong told his daughter before walking toward Yi Wanwan. Miss Yi, if my daughter offended you in any way, please pardon her. No matter what, as a practitioner of martial arts, he still held respect for truly formidable experts. Mr. Sun, you're too polite. If there's nothing else, then I'll bid farewell now. After saying that, Yi Wanwan said to Mu Suifeng, Mr. Mu, goodbye. Zhou Hen, go see our guest off. Sun Lishong told his most satisfactory disciple. Yes. Zhou Hen went up and politely guided Yi Wanwan and her group outside. In contrast to their earlier humiliating situation, the 5C family guards felt proud and elated. Reverence brimmed from their eyes as they looked at Yi Wanwan. They never would have expected Miss Yi to be so strong. Suddenly, a guard quietly muttered behind Yi Wanwan, Ninth Master's preferences truly can't be understood by us mortals. Cough, why does my heart suddenly ache for our patriarch? Can our patriarch digest this? She wasn't a delicate and dainty flower at all. She was absolutely a man-eating flower. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.